Good afternoon. Welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 45 of 2025, and I'm continuing, hopefully ending the story of what the rose did to the cypress. After having solved the riddle, Prince Almas took Mir Afruz as a captive, and with Jamila and Gaul, he prepared to make his way to his father's kingdom, but not before marrying the woman who had first helped him out and who he had pledged himself to, Dil Aram, one of the serving maids of Mir Afruz. She came with all of her things, and off they went to Prince Almas's kingdom. After he had taken care of everybody, making sure that their needs were all being met in terms of food and comfort, shelter, he made his way to the palace of his father. Now, his father, for the grief, all of the grief that he experienced about his son's deaths, had grown blind. He could no longer see. Now, Prince Almas came in, and of course he didn't recognize him, but Prince Almas put his head and hands upon his feet, and upon hearing his voice, his father was brought to tears. Prince Almas had brought with him some of that ointment that he had placed on the Peri's eyes that he had gotten, or some of the ointment that had been placed on the Peri's eyes by King Sennabar. And with this ointment, he placed it on his father's eyes, and his father's sight was redeemed. His father was so glad to look upon his son's eyes. And then Prince Almas had brought into his presence Mir Afruz and said, "Here is the woman, the murderer of your sons. Do with her as you please." Now, Prince Almas's father looked at Mir Afruz and could see that she had been humbled. She was beautiful, there was no doubt about that. And he turned to his son and said, "You have humbled this woman, it is clear. Do with her as you please." Prince Almas then took her out and back outside of the city. And there, before her, he took that servant that had been hidden beneath her throne and had his hands and feet tied to 4 horses. And then the 4 horses sent off in 4 directions. Now you can imagine what happened to him. Mir Afruz, fearing that the same was going to happen to her, got down on her knees before Prince Almas and begged for mercy. She said, "No one has been able to own me, no man. I have given my love to no one. I've been able to do as I please. Now all of this has changed. And you must know that all those kings and kings' sons who died, it was their fate to do so. Now my fate is tied up with yours. And I can't help what has happened in the past." Well, Prince Almas, I'm sure she spoke in much more eloquent ways than I just did. Prince Almas was moved by her speech, and he agreed to give her her life and married her, as was the custom in the land. Now, Mir Afruz set up her home with Jamila, and Gaul and Dilaram set up another home. And Prince Almas, from what I understand, lived quite contentedly in life and all that life could offer for the rest of his days on earth. He eventually took over the kingdom, of course, and ruled in a way that only a person can that has everything that they could possibly ever want or need, trying to bestow the same good fortune on everyone within his kingdom. And that ends the story of what the rose did to the cypress.